What is happening, everybody? John Ryan here from IGN, and today we are playing Rust, specifically looking at what you need to do to get started and survive pretty much your first day. So let's say you've just picked up the game, never played it before, and really have no idea what to do or where to go. You'll start off with 3 items, a torch for when it gets dark and scary outside, some bandages, and a rock. Now the first 2 we can kind of avoid for right now, but your rock will be used to gather materials and supplies from trees or mineral deposits or even food. However, it's super weak and, more importantly, slow. So we're going to want to get rid of it as fast as we can. Unfortunately, until we gather enough supplies to craft an upgrade, we're stuck with it. So first things first, just start hammering away at any resource you can find. Trees are pretty abundant, and you'll need more wood than anything else starting out, so that's usually a good place to begin. You can usually get between 10 and 15 pieces of wood out of each tree, so mash down 4 or 5 of them until you've got a comfortable amount. You'll also need stones, which sadly are less plentiful than trees, so keep your eyes peeled for the large gray or black rock formations that'll kind of generate randomly around the map. Some areas are richer in material than others, but we'll deal with learning your way around later on. Once you've cobbled together enough stones, you'll need 5 of them at first, I think. Find some place where you can safely pause for a moment and craft a stone hatchet. You'll find the crafting menu in your inventory screen, which you get to through the tab key. Click the crafting button at the top of the screen and open this list of items that you know how to build. The stone hatchet will probably be one of your first crafts, and while it doesn't do much more damage than the rock, it does cut through materials much quicker. Alternatively, if you can find somebody's furnace to use, you can instead craft a sturdier and deadlier proper hatchet, but again, that's something we'll cover a little ways down the road. So now you've got a little bit better tool to work with, but after all that smashing and crafting, I'm pretty sure your Rust man's going to be fairly hungry, which means you're going to need to go out into the world and find yourself a meal. Sadly, there aren't a whole lot of bushes covered in non-poisonous berries or potatoes lying in the dirt, so if you're a vegetarian, prepare to have a bad time. Any animal you run into in Rust will give you raw chicken breasts, even if you don't kill a chicken. Larger animals will give you more meat, but they're also going to be harder to kill. There are currently 6 types of animals in Rust, not counting zombies or other players. There's chickens, rabbits, pigs or boar, deer, wolves, and bears. Since you're probably just going to have a rock or a hatchet during your first hunt, you're going to want to avoid the larger predators and stick to smaller game. Rabbits and chickens are small and hard to spot, because you're also going to be avoiding other players. It's not a bad idea to look for a boar or deer instead. The pigs in Rust have been my go-to first kill, not just because bacon's, delicious, but also because you can walk as fast as they can run, making them a pretty easy and bountiful resource when you're only armed with a rock or a hatchet. Alright, so once you've managed to claim first blood against Mother Nature, you're going to need to cook your meat before you can eat it. I mean, if you want to spend 20 minutes vomiting up salmonella chunks, be my guest, but since you're trying to restore precious calories and or health, cooking your chicken breast is going to be the way to go. Now, since cooking food takes time and fires are bright, you're going to want to find somewhere secluded where you can, build your fire or usurp somebody else's and prepare your meats in peace. Here I found somebody's shelter that's clearly been abandoned for a while, and I got a little bit of extra wood, so I'm going to go ahead and build a door for some extra privacy. Doors in Rust can only be opened by the person who built them, or anybody that they've given the passcode to. So spend 30 wood, make yourself a wooden door if you're feeling paranoid. They're not the strongest structure in the game, but they'll do nicely if you need a little bit of alone time. You build a fire via your crafting menu, and then add the raw meat to it by holding E over it, and then selecting the open option that appears. Drag the raw meat from your inventory into the fire, close the window, and hit use to start cooking. It usually takes 1 piece of wood to cook 2 chicken breasts, so if you had a good hunt, you may need a little bit of extra kindling. Once it's finished, just open the fire back up and pull the now cooked meat, any extra wood and charcoal you got back into your inventory. Then you take the cooked meat, drag that from your inventory into your on-hand items, which are the keys 1 through 6, and then press the corresponding button to, chow down. Okay, so since we've got some time to relax in our shelter, let's build ourselves another toy. We've got some surplus wood as well as some cloth that we got from our last kill, so why don't we make ourselves a ranged weapon? The hunting bow costs 35 wood and 5 cloth to build, and while you need to craft the arrows separately, it's an excellent weapon to keep on hand. Not only will it make your hunts much easier, but it'll also put down a wolf in 2 hits and a zombie in usually just 1. Bears take a few more, but, I mean, really, what do you expect? a bear. Lastly, once you've hunted and gathered to your heart's content, you're probably going to want to find a place to hunker down for the night. I usually head up into the rocky hills or the mountains, since they not only provide a shield to any lights you might make, but also pretty decent cover if you find yourself being chased by somebody and need to make a quick exit. We had a pretty good haul today, so rather than spending all night huddled against a rock wall in the cold, I'm going to go ahead and build a proper shelter for the night. To build a wooden shelter, as opposed to a proper building with foundations and such, open your crafting menu and find it under the Survival tab. It costs 50 wood for the structure, plus an extra 30 if you want to add a door, which I highly suggest you do. There are few things in life more comforting than a locked door between you and the sounds of feet walking around outside your hut in the middle of the night. So, build a fire, cook any meat you might have left, maybe experiment a bit with the crafting system some more, if you've got the supplies. We'll be covering a lot more of the Rust Alpha, but that'll get you going through your first day. For all your hunting, gathering, and survival needs, keep it tuned right here to IGN.